The planned strike by public sector workers' union slated for Tuesday has been put off for 24 hours to allow the leaders to deliberate over recent attempts to address their grievances. The coalition of 12 unions, including teachers, civil servants, doctors and nurses, threatened the strike over what it describes as delays by government to transfer a portion of its members' monthly pension contributions into a private account to be determined by them. NAGRAT President Christian Addai-Poku, in an interview with Joy News, says though they have seen some letters from the National Pensions Regulatory Authority directing the Controller and Accountant General to pay the contributions to their private fund managers, they are not convinced. He says leaders of the coalition, known as the Forum, will meet on Tuesday on whether to go ahead with a strike or not.
The 12 labor unions include the Ghana Medical Association, NAGRAT, CLOSAG, TEWU and the Coalition of Concerned Teachers embarked on strike over the same issue in October 2014. Government, however, dragged the unions to court. Both parties later agreed on an out-of-court settlement, which was later accepted by the High Court. By the ruling, which is effective April 1, 2016, government is supposed to transfer 5% Tier 2 monthly deduction directly to custodian banks and also ensure that the National Pension Regulatory Authority transfer funds currently being held in the temporary pension fund account at the Bank of Ghana. The unions say they are yet to see government implement any of those decisions. The union served notice earlier they will embark on strike from Tuesday, November 15. President of NAGRAT, Christian Addai-Poku, says though they have made some headway with negotiations, they will still not rescind their decision. He explains why.
We have seen letters that have been written by the National Pensions Regulatory Authority asking Controller not to pay any money to their account again, but redirect everything to our custodial account. We have also seen a letter that they have written to the fund administrators asking them to take over the administration of the funds to make sure that they run. But it's not enough yet.
With these letters you are seeing, aren't you satisfied?
Not at all. We expect to see a letter from Ministry of Finance. That is the final authority that can instruct Controller and Accountant General's Department. We expect to see that instruction. And we also expect to meet and discuss how they are going to transfer the money already collected, and which is in the TPFA, so that we can have a holistic management of the scheme. The unions have decided to meet on the 16th, because the deadline is 15th. Exactly. So on the 16th, we are going to meet to assess the situation. And if it merits that we call for the strike as we have planned, we will go ahead with it. Tomorrow is the deadline to see that the first tranche is paid. And tomorrow is 15th. So by close of day tomorrow, we expect that the first tranche is paid into the accounts. That's the first thing. But that is not the end of the dispute.
So if you have this first tranche paid by tomorrow, what is the next step?
Still, the outstanding issues are still there. And so we have indicated clearly that we will meet on the 16th, that is a day after the deadline, to assess the entire situation and see the way forward. But let me say that we are not yet satisfied yet. We are not yet satisfied because we have not received what we really wanted.
The unions are expected to meet later Tuesday to discuss the way forward.
In another development, patients who went to the Upper West Regional Hospital for treatment Monday morning were left stranded after nurses and midwives there started a full-blown strike to compel authorities to look into their grievances. Their concerns range from illegal deductions from the Mutual Health Insurance Scheme, promotions, study leave, disregard for the chief nursing officer and logistical constraints. Rafiq Salam reports a 6-year-old suffering convulsion was amongst the patients ignored by the striking health workers.
These patients seated at the Upper West Regional Hospital, waiting to be attended to by either a nurse or a midwife, have been here for the past 3 hours with none attending to them. They look dejected and confused and wondering when they will really be attended to. Nurses and midwives at the hospital said they have started a full-scale industrial strike beginning today and will attend to patients who were admitted into the facility before today. For them to get their concerns addressed, they need to be tough, close their eyes to emergency cases, no matter the consequence. This they aptly demonstrated when this child suffering from convulsion was brought in. One of the nurses, with the heart of a mother, quickly dashed to attend to the child and was stopped in same measure by her colleagues. Even the clinical thermometer and the BP apparatus she was to use was taken away from her, which made some patients to flare up. The Upper West branch of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association said they are satisfied with what happened so far.
Today is the final day for admissions to cease. So those patients that are on the ward, if we finish attending to them, that will be all of it.
Do you think about this you can achieve your aim?
Yeah, sure. So if the patients are not attended to, whoever that is supposed to ensure that they are seen to them and also get our problem solved, they will have to do that.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Right, so I have Rafiq Salam back on the line with the very latest on the strike by the nurses there in that region. Good evening to you, Rafiq. Hello, Rafiq.
Good evening, Israel.
All right, what can you tell me, first of all, about the status of the 6-year-old suffering convulsion earlier this morning when you reported?
What happened was that the nurse who actually wanted to treat the patient, that 6-year-old, was prevented by her colleagues. But after some consultations for close to about an hour, they decided that they will take care of the 6-year-old. But at that material moment, once they took the BP and then also used the clinical thermometer on him, the doctors who were also not available, they were also locked at the crunch meeting. But finally, that baby was detained was admitted at the children's ward of the hospital.
All right, now let's get on to the status of the strike itself. Are they still bent on continuing with their strike, or they're softening their positions?
The nurses were due to hold a meeting with the regional directorate of health in the Upper West region. It was scheduled for late this evening, and I believe that they are still at that meeting because we are trying to, our sources, we are trying to speak to them, but we are unable at the moment, but they are still locked at that particular meeting to decide on the next line of action. But speaking to Samuel Bonye, he says that they are not going to go back to the hospital, and then unless their demands are met.
All right, thank you very much, Rafiq Salam, bringing us up to speed with the strike by the Upper West nurses and midwives. Now on to other stories. Now, 2 people were killed Monday afternoon when a trailer loaded with cement crashed into several vehicles at Pokwasi on the Accra-Nsawam Highway. 3 others are said to have suffered severe injuries in the 7-vehicle pileup rushed to the Nsawam Government Hospital in the Eastern region. Joy News' Latif Idris was at the accident scene and reports the crash caused massive traffic congestion for hours.
Disturbing and gory scenes here at Pokwasi ACP Junction, where information we've gathered is that long vehicle trailer with registration number GW161710 apparently failed the brake and crashed into 7 different vehicles. Information I've gathered so far indicates that 2 people have been confirmed dead and so have been transported to the police hospital. 4 others sustained injuries and were also transferred to the Nsawam Government Hospital and are receiving treatment. We have thousands of eyewitnesses and passers-by who have gathered here in their numbers.
I'm Piotr Sella, so I was standing here and I realized there's a boy at my back saying that a big car is coming to hit us, so we should go back. So I jumped the gutter. After I jumped the gutter, I realized this car also passed the other roadside to hit 3 cars and kill 1 driver.
Some were lucky to escape death today, and they are singing the praises the loudest. The driver of this cab escaped narrowly and is here to share with us his experience as far as the gory situation here is concerned. You're welcome to Joy News.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Can you tell us exactly what happened? I see your windshield, everything is crashed, but you survived. How are you doing?
Oh, actually from Jonte Junction, top, you say car, a cock goes slow, track, and me right now, I don't know what is going on, but I'll just give thanks to God. I'll just give thanks to Almighty because I don't know.
Right now, what are you going to do next?
I'm going to prepare my car. So far as I'm alive there.
And you know the whereabouts of the driver of the long vehicle?
I don't know anything.
You know exactly what happened?
I don't know.
He's alive also?
I don't know. For that one, I don't know because I never go there. So I don't know what is going on.
You don't even want to go there?
I don't want to go there. It's okay. I just give thanks to God. I'm a fresh mind. I'll use that mind to my house. But if I go there, I don't know what will happen next.
So according to police, who I must say are not medics to declare someone dead, 2 people are confirmed dead with 3 others in critical conditions and have been transferred to the Nsawam Government Hospital. Now, rescue operation is still underway to get the mangled vehicles out of the drain here at Pokwase APC Junction. This is Latif Idris reporting for Joy News.
You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break, but we have more stories coming up. Please don't go away. Now, the Supreme Court on Monday dismissed a suit filed by Dr. Kwame Amoako-Tuffuor, Benjamin Arthur and Adreba Abrefa Damwa against the Electoral Commission. The 3 wanted the court to compel the EC to count and declare results of special voting immediately after it takes place. Manasseh Azura-Winnie, who was at the Supreme Court, reports a 7-member panel of judges unanimously dismissed the case.
Voice of Dr. Kwame Amoako-Tuffuor speaking to journalists at the Supreme Court today. He wanted the Supreme Court to compel the Electoral Commission to count and declare results of special voting, which will be held on 1st December. But the court dismissed his application. In a unanimous decision that was read by Justice William Atugba, the court said counting and declaring results of the special voting would greatly prejudice the secrecy of the ballots of the early identifiable voters concerned. The 7-member panel of judges also agreed with the Electoral Commission that counting and declaring the results would compromise or even jeopardize the integrity of the elections. According to the court, no example of advance announcement of results of special voting or early voting in any country in the world was cited, so its position was fortified by the global wisdom regarding the matter.
Meanwhile, lawyer for the plaintiffs, Egbert Fable Jr., says even though the case was dismissed, it will help to improve the sanctity of the special voting.
This issue of special voting has been determined now by the Supreme Court. What is left is for the Electoral Commission and, for that matter, all stakeholders to now recognize that it is constitutional and thereafter take steps, because anything that is constitutional cannot be trifled with, so that all the fears that people have about special votes being tampered with and all the rest. Now, a certain constitutional burden has been established, and the Electoral Commission, I believe, will live up to its responsibility and ensure that special votes are given the constitutional sanctity that have been impacted on it by the Supreme Court in today's judgment. Thank you.
Now, the elections will be safe and secure. That's the assurance coming from President Mahama following the weekend violence between supporters of the governing NDC and the security detail of the NPP presidential candidate Nana Akufo-Addo at his Nima residence Sunday. Both parties have accused the other for starting the violence. Greater Accra Region Chairman of the NDC, Joseph Adekoka, insists the party's supporters pelted stones after they were provoked by the NPP.
My capacity as the chairman of the party, and we in the region are saying, and hear me clear and loud, We can't allow our people in the region to be maltreated, pushed around, shot at. They come to us and we always appeal to them to be calm. We are asking the state authorities to take action immediately. We have every confidence in the state security. Those who are shooting out there, they know there's a state security. They know there's state law, and they violate it with impunity. And I've given you an example. We are not going to sit down for our boys, our members, to be harassed, harangued, shot at by the opposition party. And more so, today's incident, we had a peaceful walk, and they started shooting from his residence. Just like that. Just like that. Yes. Yes. So that is why we are here today. And I'm giving you pictorial evidence, and you are saying that we have every confidence in the state security. But if somebody slaps you once, and you give your cheek and he slaps again, then you are allowed to slap you. Okay. Nobody will intimidate NDC under my watch. Nobody will get around will intimidate NDC. We are peace-loving people. And like I said to you this morning, we had a peaceful march. And we've been doing all of, and I keep telling you, they are the ones who keep stalking us. And they should advise their followers to stop stalking us. But if they continue stalking us, we also stalk them.
But the New Patriotic Party has a different account of events. Acting Chairman Freddie Blaze says the NPP was first attacked. He says the party has also warned its supporters they would be punished if they foment trouble. Now, President Mahama is ever confident the impending election will be peaceful.
One of the things that has made Ghana an attractive place for doing business is our stability and our democracy and the respect for rule of law. And it's something that we will continue to work at. Often when we get into an election, the political rhetoric ratchets up. I urge you not to be afraid or frightened that it is going to lead to any blow-up. I mean, Ghana, has a history of peaceful, transparent, and successful elections. And I believe that the 7th election under the 4th Republic is going to be no different. I'll play my part as President and Commander-in-Chief to ensure that we have a stable, secure environment for people to cast their ballots. And I believe that once the elections are over, the people of Ghana will decide who they want to lead them over the next 4 years, and whoever emerges, all of us must support the person.
All right, the very latest we're getting on this particular incident is coming from the U.S. Embassy, and they've released their statement on their Facebook page. I'm going to read directly from there. The U.S. Embassy in Ghana, okay, so it says the United States condemns all political violence in Ghana, especially any violent acts directed at political candidates, their homes or families. While campaigns can be vigorous and sometimes contentious, violence has no place in the electoral process. In the period leading up to and following Ghana's elections on December 7, we call on all actors to remain peaceful and respect the democratic process. We encourage all parties to make it clear to their constituents that any violence or attempts to use intimidation to disrupt the democratic process is unacceptable. The United States will consider all other options to hold responsible those who incite political violence, including denying or revoking visas. The United States applauds Ghana's tradition of peaceful democratic elections. The international community is working with the Electoral Commission, national and regional peace councils, NGOs, civil society organizations, the media, the police and others to support Ghana's efforts to hold credible and non-violent presidential elections. We urge all to participate peacefully in the democratic process before, during, and after the election. The government of the United States does not support a particular candidate or a particular party. We support democracy. We will continue to work with the freely elected government of Ghana, just as we always have. Now, there's also been a statement has also been issued by the UK High Commission here in Ghana, and they're expressing similar sentiment. When I have that statement, I'll make it available to you. But former Methodist Bishop of Kumasi, Reverend Professor Osei Safo Kantanka, wants police to ban political party health walks until after the December elections. His call follows Sunday's incident in Accra, where NDC supporters on a health walk clashed with NPP supporters and security detail of the flag bearer of the NPP near his residence. A similar exercise at Aboabo in Kumasi during a recent tour by President Mahama nearly resulted in violence, but for the timely intervention of security agents. Reverend Safo Kantanka says such activities can only heighten tension in the country and do little to the electoral fortunes of the parties at this stage of their campaign.
I agree perfectly if the police will come in and say, yes, we can give permits for you to hold your rallies where we can really, but for you to go on peace walk in the mornings and so on, we are seeking peace and pursuing it. Peace will never come to us on a silver platter. So if the police can also say, fine, this method of campaigning, we will not agree for you to use this method of campaigning, I don't think they can take them to Supreme Court, but I think the police have every right to say that this is the kind of campaigning we cannot seriously control, and therefore people can have their own peace walk or health walk, but using it as a political rally and everybody coming along with thousands of people on what health walk is something that we have never experienced it. So I wish that the police will also be bold enough on such a case and to prevent such provocations from taking place. People walking all the way from a Doom area through Amakum to KJT and so on.
All right, so staying with the health walk issue and especially the clash that occurred on Sunday at the residents, the Nima residents of the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, have been joined in the studio by Jifa Bampo. She's the head of our security desk here, and she's been trying to find out what exactly has happened. Of course, the police will be investigating the matter, and there have been conflicting reports for conflicting accounts from both the NPP and the NDC as to what happened. But Jifa Bampo, you have been monitoring and you've been trying to piece together what actually happened. What can you tell us, or what have you been able to establish as to what happened on Sunday?
So speaking to both sides, the NDC engaged in a health walk, and part of the route that they used would go in front of Mr. Akufo-Addo's home. Now, I know that road. It's near the Nima police station. It's not a road that is typically blocked. It's an open thoroughfare. Yes, as you pass, you will see the security officers for Mr. Akufo-Addo, his private security officers. They're usually seated in front. But apart from that, it's a very quiet area.
Unassuming.
I mean, it's not the kind of place that you would expect a clash to happen. So they were to use that route. My understanding of events is that as they sought to go through, the road was blocked, and they were being questioned why they chose to come and pass in that route, and that they should find an alternative route.
I'd like to understand something, or try to put it into perspective. Now, from the traffic light, there's a road that goes straight up past the Nima police station into Nima itself, and there's one that runs in front of the residence of the flag bearer of the NPP. So which one were they trying to use?
I suspect they were coming from the other side, trying to come out.
Oh, okay.
And they were blocked. And obviously, they were told that the leadership, when I spoke to them, said there was no way they could have turned because it would have been inconvenient to go all the way around. Exactly. And that this is a public road.
So they were coming towards the Nima police station area, rather.
So this is a public road. They didn't see why it should be blocked, why they should be questioned as to why they are using that route. And I think in the heat of the exchange, the crowd started pushing nearer and nearer the walls that bound the home of Mr. Akufo-Addo. And so the team in the Mr. Akufo-Addo residence felt threatened, and in an attempt to push back, they rather started firing the warning shots from the house. We spoke to an eyewitness, an NPP member, who admits that yes, the crowd was milling onto the wall, onto the gate as if they were going to enter, and to push them back, they in the NPP home started shooting out. And in self-defense, it seems, then the NDC supporters now picked stones and allegedly threw them into the home and were pelting the security officers and the like. So essentially, that's what it was. An unfortunate show of power, Exactly, because some other leader may have said, okay, we don't want any trouble, let's turn around and go. But the other thinking is that, well, this road is open to everybody. Mr. Akufo-Addo is not a president, he's not a high-ranking security official for that road to be blocked, and so there was no need for the road to be blocked. And so there was this pushback, and unfortunately it led to this clash, and the police didn't also come in or respond quickly, you know, and by the time they actually came, the NDC supporters had left, but there was a huge crowd of NDC MPP supporters and other people. It's hard to identify whether they are supporters or not, and then things just, you know, went out of hand, to the extent that a policeman, a gun was pointed at a policeman, and we understand that the police was very, very unhappy about that. So the regional commander, in his interactions with the media, indicated that they sought to enter the home of Mr. Akufo-Addo to see whether stones had been pelted and all that, and they were initially denied entry, and so they decided to wait. I understand that later on they had access, and so some forensic investigation has begun, but nobody has been arrested, and I guess that's been the worrying thing, because if you follow the trend of electoral violence, right from the incidences of Chireponi, Akwetia, Odododiodo, I mean, it's like, yes, they may arrest some people, let them go, but maybe the top members of the party are never really held accountable.
A number of questions have also come up since this incident happened. People are wondering, the people who went on this health walk, did they have a police permit? You know, and if they had a police permit, why were the police not accompanying them essentially on this walk, which appeared to be a really huge one, because the president was also involved.
It's hard to say why the police maybe did not accompany them. There's also another account I heard from a source, a security source, saying that, well, that they should not have actually used that route. They were supposed to use behind the Nima police station or something. It's unclear as to what the situation is, but either way, the routes or the road they were using are not roads that are security zones. It's not blocked.
They are not known to.
They are not known to be security zones. They are not blocked to members of the public, and so the expectation was that this walk should have happened without incident. However, it's also possible that the MPP team may have had a hint that the NDC group were coming
and they were
prepared to block. So it's really
but what's the very latest from the police as far as this incident is concerned?
The police haven't been talking. Today we've tried to get some extra information from them as to what's going to happen going forward in terms of holding people to account, possible arrests, and then any further discussions. What I've picked up is that there's going to be a meeting tomorrow between the police and the leadership of the parties. So as of today, we've not actually spoken to the parties. Mr. Akufo-Addo released a statement, and so we spoke to a spokesperson, Mustafa Hamid. But in terms of the investigations, we are being told that they are looking into it, they're investigating. So I guess the main thing that most people want to see is the arrest of those who were wielding guns, and further investigation as to whether these guns that they are holding are licensed. Because, you know, the Small Arms Commission raised this issue 2 months ago, based on which there was an amnesty, and they only mopped up some,
a meager
amount of weapons. We are told that there are about 1 million unlicensed, unregistered weapons in the system. So Mr. Jones-Apley has actually called for continuous re-registration so that people can still have an opportunity to bring their weapons. And he says this incident clearly shows why there is a need to deal with weapons in private hands, the possibility that vigilante groups may still be holding on to weapons with somewhat 23 days to the election. So it's a matter of concern. I understand also that the Accra Police Command will be addressing this issue tomorrow about weaponry in the system in Greater Accra and the like. But it's a nationwide issue. We know that there were some incidents in Woolensea today. So this is something that seems to be picking up steam. If it's not nipped in the bud, it may get worse.
Right. Thank you very much, Jifa. And the other statement I promised you regarding the violence that's coming from the UK High Commission is now available. I'll just bring it to you. So the British government expresses its concern at recent incidents of political violence in Ghana in the run-up to the presidential and parliamentary elections on December 7. We condemn all violent acts by the supporters of any political party, including any occurring as a result of holding electoral campaign events close to the private homes of rival candidates. The UK is a great supporter of Ghana's democracy and of maintaining its electoral record. We admire the open and energetic nature of its campaigns. We believe that violence has absolutely no place in the electoral process. We therefore call on all Ghana's political actors to promote peace and to respect Ghana's electoral and constitutional processes. All political parties should strongly urge their supporters to refrain from and indeed actively to condemn any violence, incitement or intimidation which only serves to undermine democracy. The UK reserves the right to take action against anyone engaging in or inciting political violence, including considering refusing or revoking visas. The UK will continue to work with Ghanaian institutions, including the Electoral Commission, police, judiciary, National Peace Council, civil society groups, and the media to support Ghana's efforts to hold credible, peaceful and fair elections. The UK remains entirely neutral in these elections, and it's obvious from the statement that it's similar to the one issued by the US Embassy, as they are both talking about refusing or revoking visas. You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break, but still to come in the bulletin, the Kwame Nkrumah interchange has been opened to traffic. President Mahama was there and he performed the commissioning. We'll bring you details later on in the bulletin. But right after this break, we'll bring you business news. Right, it's time for business, and Emmanuel Abajuyafi has joined me. Good evening to you, Emmanuel.
Good evening, Easy.
Right, so the president has been talking about, has been having a meeting.
Yes, with Captains of Industry.
Captains of Industry. It's a GIPC forum, exactly, the breakfast meeting. And I heard him talk about the fact that, well, first of all, he justified the private sector participation in the electricity company of Ghana. And he also talked about some things that are going to happen as far as our power sector is concerned.
Well, it's interesting, but the president is kind of assuring, captains of industry that their woes when it comes to power supply is going to be a thing of the past, to the extent that Ghana is even targeting another buyer of our power, or will be targeting another buyer, that's Nigeria, for more power in the coming years.
We have more than enough.
Yes, and
we're going to be having more than enough.
We're going to be having more than enough. Perhaps he's counting his hopes on, the upcoming Sankofa project, which will generate about 1,000 megawatts of power, as well as 10 projects and other upcoming fields also generating gas.
But it's indeed true that we have a number of generating plants coming on, thermal plants coming on stream, which would provide a lot more electricity, and so probably that's what he's looking at. Anyway, you take it away.
All right, thank you very much, and thanks for joining me on Business. President Mahama says government is targeting Nigeria to take up excess power that the country will be producing in the coming years. The recent power crisis resulted in lots of power producers coming in to help address the problem. However, according to President Mahama, there are fears the country will soon be producing more power than it actually needs in the next 3 years. Addressing business owners at the Ghana Investment Promotion Center breakfast meeting with CEOs, the president said this arrangement will ensure investors in the power sector get value for money.
We have unacceptable losses that we need to deal with. If we're able to deal with those losses, I'm sure that we will be cost recovering, because there are illegal connections, there are line losses, there are all kinds of things that make our losses unacceptably high, estimated at 25%, or more. And so those are things we are trying to deal with, and that is why we signed the agreement with the Millennium Challenge Compact to improve the distribution of power and make sure that we're collecting revenues more efficiently. And that is why we agreed that the private sector should come in and assist, because try as we can with the ECG, it is not being able to collect the power, the revenue for the power that is generated. And so it has worked in many countries. In our neighbor Cote d'Ivoire, the companies that are coming to your door and taking the revenue, and it's not a state-owned enterprise, it's private sector. And it's proven that the private sector is better at doing that, so that then the distributor can concentrate on the technical issues that they need to deal with to ensure that power is regular and consistent.
And in a related development, the president is also promising a significant reduction in the public debt and other economic variables by December. He also spoke about how to deal with rising interest rates.
The most serious threat to business and the private sector is an unstable economy. And an unstable economy exists when you have the deficit rising unsustainably. It means government is spending far more than it is earning, and it has to finance that deficit in some manner. And so because the deficit was going up, of course inflation too starts going up. Interest rates ballooned, and the cedi started depreciating. I mean, no business can survive in an environment like that. But I know that what affects you most is interest rates, the high cost of borrowing. And that is why we have introduced a public debt management strategy that tries to control government borrowing. We're trying to create a situation where we don't crowd out the private sector. And happily, if you look at the statistics, crowding is reducing because government is reducing continuously its domestic borrowing. Indeed, we're doing some substitution. And so if you notice, some of the Eurobonds that we floated have been to take out the more high interest domestic debt. And so sometimes when we go on the Eurobond market, it is not to finance the budget, but to reduce the incidence of the domestic debt as a burden on the budget. And so that is going well. As part of the IMF program, we presented a public debt management strategy, which we are following quite consistently. And it is seeing a reduction in the incidence of public debt. We've come from a high of about 73% to currently about 67%. And my indication is that this will continue to go down.
In other business news, about 200 businesses have so far successfully registered using the Registrar General's Department's online process. This is after the Registrar General's Department launched its online registration portal over a year ago in May 2015. But what have been the experiences of some business operators so far, and what response by the Registrar General answers in this report?
The Registrar General's Department's online registration portal was introduced as part of initiatives to enhance the business registration process in the country. So, to what extent has this goal been achieved? Some business operators that have tried the service have been speaking to Joy Business.
I was hoping, honestly, when I went to the website first, that I could be able to register there, but it doesn't work that way. You just print your forms in and still have to come here in the first place. So I was searching for the different forms and stuff to fill, and then it just ended. It didn't move any, go to the next window or something. No, it just ended at one. I don't remember where exactly on the website ended, but it just ended there. So I had to print the forms out, fill them manually, and then come here to continue.
I only printed out the registration form and I had to fill it and come here. Meanwhile, online, I believe name search should even be the first thing. It should be very easy for you to log in with a name to check if the name is really registered or not before you can even move here. And it's not working.
The Acting Registrar General, Jemima Owari, however, explains to Joy Business they are working to enhance the process.
They are not too used to the system, and so they get into it. We query a lot. They are not used to the system. So when they put in an application and it comes in, we would actually query quite a bit to get it to conform to what we want. They are now learning. But those who've been registering online and have gotten a hang of things, within 2-3 days, they get their documents approved. That whole process, getting the different levels of approval, it could take you maybe 2 days or 3 days.
That is when you come.
When you come here, yes. So online, we are hoping that with online, we should even reduce the time. So we've asked the software developers to give us a flag, or so that when we are approving applications, we'll approve online applications, earlier than the manual ones, as a form of incentive to get people, to stay at home, to register businesses online.
The Registrar General's Department portal is also integrated with the Ghana Revenue Authority systems to identify users by their tax identification numbers.
The Chamber of Mines has set Tuesday, November 15, to engage local business operators and the Association of Ghana Industries to discuss ways of meeting standards in the revised local content procurement list for the mining sector. The meeting will afford participants the opportunity to understand the revised local content procurement by the Chamber of Mines.
The Chamber of Mines revised its local content procurement list as part of initiatives to promote more indigenous companies to participate in the mining sector. According to the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber, Suleiman Kone, the engagement has become necessary due to the importance attached to promotion of local content in the country.
One of the inputs or one of the items on the procurement list of the Minerals Commission is electric cables, heavy-duty electric cables. And we believe that although I have seen some improvement between the 2014 and 2015 performance of the mining industry, we can do a lot more. So to interrogate that further, we need to workshop it, have a workshop and start discussing, not just amongst ourselves, but even with the Ghana Standards Authority, because there's an issue of standards as well. Ghana Standards Authority, on the basis of the discussion, we could even develop standards for some of these electric cables. And then again, get in the Ministry of Trade, because trade policy is also important. And then Minerals Commission, the regulator, and so on. And we also bring in the electrical engineers from the mines. We also bring in the cable manufacturers themselves, and then the AGI, all coming to help us to unravel the issues so that we walk away knowing that we have a blueprint regarding solutions to encourage more local manufacturing and more local procurement of electric cables in the mining industry.
At the recently held Association of Ghana Industries Local Content and Investment Conference, Chief Executive Officer of the AGI, Setchum Akwabwa, emphasized the importance of such stakeholder engagement.
Making sure that the local companies are given the necessary capacity, because they need to upskill their operations, they need to have, higher levels of human resource to be able to do the things that we require them to do in the local industry. And I think all these are happening. So there have been a lot of positive development. Indeed, today we have a number of Ghanaian companies that have ventured into certain areas which hitherto were not being done at all, and they are making good business. So we haven't reached there yet. That's the reason why we still continue to have these kind of seminars. After a while, if we think that Ghanaians have reached a level where they are virtually doing everything in the oil and gas industry, there will not be the need for a seminar of this nature. But for now, we don't.
Outcome of discussions are expected to help shape ideas into developing subsequent local content policies in the mining sector.
And that's all in business. Many thanks for watching. For more business news updates, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Emmanuel Apuaji Riafi. Good evening.
Female parliamentary aspirants in the Ashanti region are complaining about what they say are attempts by their male counterparts to sabotage them. The women, including independent candidates, allege unknown persons are vandalizing their billboards and other campaign materials. The issue came up for discussion when the Electoral Commission met with female candidates at a sensitization workshop in Kumasi.
Independent candidate for Chima Wabiaja North, Esther Donko, set the tone for discussion on the illegality. She told her colleagues at least 4 of her billboards have been pulled down.
A month, I realized that those are the various areas were pulled down, especially my hometown at Achimako. I'm having a very giant billboard over there. When most of the people over there called me the other time, it was just amazing. And also one at Barikese, it was down, and one at Esiofwa.
PPP candidate for Mensah North, Bertrand Amponsa Brechum, says almost all her posters in the constituency have been removed or defaced.
They started removing our posters, our banners. I have all my posters removed from the constituency. If you see us, you just see a shadow. My banners were hung around Vantage Point, and they were taken away. Even in people's shop, they were taken away.
Regional Director Srebo Kweku reminded the public it's criminal to destroy materials of opponents. He also advised the candidates to recruit literate polling agents to represent them on election day.
They should look for people of integrity, people they can trust, people who are well educated, people who appreciate figures. So I said literate and numerate. so that at the end of the day, they know what they are there to do. If the person is not well educated, even figures, they cannot appreciate the figures. If the person cannot read, he can't appreciate what is being said. So if they get people who are well educated, can appreciate figures, that means that they are committed, they are trustworthy, they will be there to represent them very well. And at the end of the day, they will take decisions which will be in the interest of the candidates.
The EU-sponsored program is meant to sensitize women parliamentary candidates on election process. Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.
MPPP flag bearer Papa Kwesi Nduma slammed government for neglecting the people of the central region. He complains of the bad nature of the roads in the region and the poor marketing centers that leave the farmers badly affected. Dr. Nduma has been addressing students of the University of Cape Coast. Richard Kojo-Nyarko is our central regional correspondent and he joins us live now. Good evening to you, Richard.
Good evening.
Right, what else did Dr. Nduma say at the school's auditorium?
Well, today we said at the Abrasi Ukamankese and that was where he met the market women and traders and the farmers especially, because he was really shocked at the level of the deprivation with which the farmers find themselves in. He also saw a lot of citrus that are lined by the special areas and the others, and he says that the people neglected by this present administration, because the government ought to have come to their aid so that the farmers would get market for their produce. From there, we came to the University of Cape Coast, where he's been courting the support of the students. He says that the students need jobs, graduations, and so it is only the PPP administration that will be able to do that. He says that as a private person, he's been able to provide jobs to the people. I mean, every district, the people grouping is visibly seen in that particular. He's causing the support that the taxpayers' money, which is and what he has, he will be able to do something substantial that their burden would be lessened. So now we are currently, we've gone to Apam Junction. He's been also interacting with some of the party supporters resident there. We are currently at the Futuwiniba, and where he will be addressing a rally shortly. So this is what the PP flag bearer has been doing today.
All right, thank you very much, Richard Kojo-Nyarko. Meanwhile, the chief of Gomoa Singh in the central region, Nana Kofi Assanghoma, has urged politicians to stop sharing V8 vehicles to chiefs, but rather use the money to build factories for the youth to reduce unemployment rates in the country. According to him, the cost of one four-wheel drive, as in the V8s, can build a factory which can employ over 200 people in the community. The chief further said it is unreasonable for his colleague chiefs to be receiving valuable items from politicians while the residents remain jobless. The National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, warns governments and political parties to look beyond introducing new policies in the education sector merely to score political points. President of the association, Christian Adaupoku, reacting to government's recent decision to make teaching of Arabic examinable in basic and senior high schools, says there is a need for broader consultation with key stakeholders before implementation. He was speaking on the sidelines of the 10th International Further and Higher Education and Research Conference held in Accra.
It appears that policies are not designed based on research. Policies are designed as and when people feel enthused and they are in the spirit of campaigning, and then on the campaign platform, any idea that comes out becomes a policy for us. And that's really, really unfortunate. We think that matters like this must have wider consultation first before they are even put to the public domain. I don't know whether they have done a study on how far we have felt in the teaching of Latin in Ghana, the teaching of French in Ghana, in India, and many other languages. Bringing Arabic on board, well, as at now, I'll not be able to make a comment because we don't have any study to be able to stand on and say whether it's going to be good or not. We think that there is a need for us to sit down as a nation and look at it from the perspective of research to find out whether this is something that the nation really needs.
The Education Forum is a meeting of leaders of tertiary education and researchers from across the globe to tackle the increasing changing and challenging conditions facing the sector. The Education Minister, Professor Jainan Opukwajiman, charged the stakeholders to use their expertise to influence decisions in the sector.
What I'm proposing for our country is a whole quality assurance section. Just as we've done for the higher education, we need a quality assurance accreditation board. We're talking about private schools and how do the schools come about in this country? How do they come about? Who allows them? All those people in the district offices and so on, who are they? So who is to blame? How do the schools come about? Is it enough that I can cut a couple of bamboo sticks and put palm fronds on and call it a school? How can you set up a school without water, without washrooms? Who allows this to happen? And what are we saying about that? So again, it is one area that we need to look at.
The forum is being organized by Education International, the global confederation of 401 national education unions and organizations in 172 countries.
The Ghana Society for the Physically Disabled is warning dependency costs will continue to rise until urgent steps are taken to control it. President John Meful blames illiteracy and unemployment amongst its members for the trend. He spoke at a meeting in Kumasi organized by the Center for Disability Rights Advocates and the Ghana Society for the Physically Disabled. Kwesi Debra reports.
Mr. Meful says members have suffered rejection and marginalization for far too long. He believes enhanced skills training for persons with disability is needed to address the challenge.
The rate of this dependency is a huge cost on the society and the nation at large. This cost of dependency shall continue to increase in as much and as long as over 90% of children with disability do not have the opportunity to attend school to be educated. In as much as illiteracy is so high with persons with disability. In as much as poverty is engulfing our membership as a result of unemployment.
Mr. Meful also touched on elections at a program dubbed Disability Call for Peace. He told political party leadership and supporters to exercise self-control in the midst of provocation to ensure peaceful polls.
I stand on behalf of the members of the Ghana Society of the Physically Disabled and sister disability organizations who could not represent here to entreat every Ghanaian to exercise the greatest restraint even in the midst of extreme provocation and to seek the face of Almighty God.
A pastor, Joa Opon-Boateng, entreated ministers of the word to be measured in their proclamations in order not to trigger violence. Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Debra.
Kinsampo South in the Brahafo region has finally gotten a district chief executive after several failed attempts. Correspondent Anas Sabiti joins me with more on this. Good evening to you, Anas. Hello, Anas. All right, we do not have Anas Sabiti on the line. We're taking a quick break, but we're not done with our stories here. Please stay tuned. President John Mahama has opened the three-tier Kwame Nkrumah interchange to traffic 3 months after opening the first phase. Joy News' Ernest Menu has been covering the event and he joins me We're on the line with the very latest. Good evening to you, Ernest. Now, tell us, it appears to have been a very beautiful and well-orchestrated ceremony.
Absolutely, Israel. It was a very organized, well-organized event, and I must say that indeed the whole place is crowded right now. Traffic has been opened. I mean, the interchange has been open to traffic right now. Motorists are very much excited about this facility, this edifice, and the Obra spot is right now alive. There is a carnival going on right now at this recreational center. What used to be the Obra spot right now, and there's a lot of activity going on right now. Lots of people here very much excited about the commissioning today, Israel.
All right, but what has President Mahama himself been saying about the event?
Yes, for him, this is a momentous activity in the history of this country, and it goes a long way to affect productivity, because we're not going to waste so much time on the roads anymore. We're going to get to work early. It will eventually culminate into improving our fortunes economically. And then for him, it will also improve the quality of life, because parents would have time to spend with their families. They wouldn't spend so much time on the highway after a hard day's work. And of course, emergency services are also going to get to their destinations in time in order to save situations. And so for him, this is a good time for us as Ghanaians to celebrate, to be proud of ourselves of this achievement, and of course he asked Ghanaians to give him the nod to pursue this Better Ghana agenda. He revealed plans by his government to be given the nod come December 7th of replicating such a facility, infrastructure, I should say, in other places, for instance, at Kaneshie, because now the traffic congestion will be easier, but it's likely to be worse at Kaneshie, and so he intends to construct another one there and other places just to make sure that we have less traffic in town. That will eventually reflect in the economic situation in the country as well.
Now, apparently, the president has also been drawing some parallel between the edifice we have at the Kwame Nkrumah circle or interchange now and what pertains in Dubai.
Absolutely. The phrase we keep hearing over here, and not just from the president and his ministers and the bigwigs of the NDC, but from the people themselves. They say this is small Dubai, and they are very much excited. There was this gentleman I spoke to said, "Oh, I've been seeing pictures of this on social media, on the internet, and I think this is Dubai now." There was this taxi driver who started shouting, "Kaneshie Dubai, Kaneshie." I mean, that is how they are going to call their passengers, as it were. And so, yes, the nickname, as it were, for the Kwame Nkrumah interchange, especially for the recreational center, is small Dubai in Ghana.
All right, thank you very much, Ernest Kojo Menu, bringing us a report on the opening of the Kwame Nkrumah interchange to traffic. And this is what it looks like now during the day. So as you can see, we have one lane coming all the way from the Ring Road, and then it crosses over Ring Road Central area where you have the bus stop and the rest, and it crosses over towards the STC area or going to Obechevi Lamte Circle. And then there's another one that's coming from Accra Central that crosses over to the Accra Nsawam Highway. And then there's also one that's coming from the Accra Nsawam Highway that crosses over towards Accra Central. Right, up next, we bring you entertainment. Stay tuned. Right, it's time for entertainment, and Miss G, she's here, and she's going to bring us entertainment news. It turns out that she's in the news herself, because you are in the news.
I'm not in the news.
You're a public personality.
Oh, but who should be saying who is a public? You are a senior most public personality.
No, see, you go out there and look out for gossips.
You are always on the screen telling people what's happening.
So you're looking at people's Facebook pages and Twitter posts and Instagram posts. I can
smell mischief because I don't know.
Yeah, people want to know.
What?
Said
what's in the news? Okay, so I bring you.
No, you're not going to run away from this. Office romance. First, you post on your page, you say office romance. First, you said you are in love. Then you come back, you say office romance, and then you say no. He says I shouldn't say office romance. It's office love.
Where did you find all those?
That's it.
What is this?
This is your page.
Oh, okay, somebody manages my page, so I'm sure
somebody manages what your page. This is your page.
It's my page, but somebody manages it.
Yesterday,
so I'm sure
at 7:01 p.m.
This is a movie title.
And then there's another one that says, this is office. You said I shouldn't say office romance, right?
I think it's a line in the movie as well. It's a movie. Office romance is actually a movie title. And I'm sure we're helping promote.
He says it should be office love, not romance.
Oh, really? That's a line in the movie we are trying to promote. So Office Romance is the movie that will soon hit the screens. Okay? So let's hope to see Office Romance soon. Okay, so can we get straight to business? Well, I bring you greetings from Beryl. Beryl is a young lady who is at SAP International. She talks about you and I so much. I'm sure Beryl will be so happy. She actually stopped our own Baba Tando just to speak to me over the phone. So she asked that.
Hi, Beryl.
Yeah, I'm sure Beryl will have a good sleep today. But we're starting the bulletin on a very sad note because the man...
category.
Yes. Is no more. Now, apparently he's been sick for 2 years now, and we've been trying to reach him, but every time we try, we hear that he's indisposed. So we thought that he'll get better, then we can have a conversation with him, only for us to be told today by his daughter that he's no more. So Delaglanu had a conversation with Katare's daughter.
True. He passed away when today?
This morning, yeah.
Around what time, please?
Well, I saw it around 9 a.m., but we took him to the hospital at 10:30 and the doctor confirmed.
Which hospital?
That's a Pukuwari hospital, but I saw it in the morning at home. I was with him. I was waiting for him to wake up to take his breakfast, though, but he wasn't waking up. So as at 9 a.m., I tried waking him up, and he wasn't breathing. I checked him. I'm a nurse myself. I checked him and everything, and I realized he's no more. So I called his doctor, and he asked me to bring him for confirmation.
Was he sick?
Yeah, for the past 2 years, he's been sick, and it's on and off, though. But this week itself, he's sick. He's weak, though. He was weak. He's sick, yeah.
And how old was he?
He's 78.
Where is the body knife?
At Kolebu Mortuary.
All right, so that's the news about
very sad news. I heard it.
For those who do not really know him, he was a famous face in Ifeora series. Also, he was part of Akandrama back in the day.
Yeah.
Yes, so he's been around. He's been around a while, but we say that may his soul rest in peace.
Certainly.
Yes. So let's move on to some other story. Now, Hans Anuku, Nigerian actor, here in Ghana.
Did I see him at some MPP rally on Sunday?
Yes, at the youth rally, actually campaigning, for Nana Akufo-Addo. I like the way he pronounces Nana Akufo-Addo's name. He has to take his time. But did you realize that after campaigning for Nana Akufo-Addo, he talked about a better Ghana? So I was like, okay, well, let's see excerpts from the youth rally in Cape Coast.
Listen, hello, young people, youth of Ghana, can I hear you shout? Listen, all of you is left with just 23 days. Everybody on WhatsApp, everybody on Facebook, everybody on Instagram, send your DP right now to Nana Akufo-Addo. Everybody now, change your DP, sacrifice your WhatsApp between now and then. And change your status. Say that I am voting for who? I am voting for who?
When I say NPP, you say change. NPP. Change. NPP. Change. NPP. Change. Charlie, we better change, man. I want you all to know that on the 7th of December, 2016, vote for Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia.
Yes! Yay!
I tell you, it's going to be a better Ghana for the better future of our children. And we're here to support it. We're here to support peace. We're here to support development. We're here to support change. We're here to support NPP and Dr. Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia, President and Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. May God bless you all. Don't forget, change!
Change!
I want to find out from him what his interest really is in a Ghanaian, election, because he's a Nigerian and you cannot vote in a Ghanaian election, Hamza Nuku. So why are you endorsing Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo?
I'm doing it because, apart from loving him as a human being, I think he ought to have a chance to serve, because politics should be 50-50, no cheating. John Dramani Mahama has done his 8 years. I think another chance should be given to Dankwa Akufo-Addo to do his own 8 years. He's a man of substance. I think he will win.
Okay, I think they need to, lecture him, tutor him a bit more about the diction to use. You don't say a better Ghana, because a better Ghana belongs to somebody else. But, I guess Dele Momodu is to NDC as Hansen Nuku.
But we've been finding out, what influence these two, Dele and then Hans, can have on we the electorate here. And it turns out that they could have some influence, because that some Nigerians who came to trade here in early days have married, and by that what do you call it? Because of the marriage, some of them have grown to have kids and also have become...
They become citizens.
Exactly, and then they have the right to vote. But also, a political scientist tells us that according to the electoral law, it is not permitted for them to have actually given them space to campaign.
Okay.
Well, let's move away from politics and talk some more politics though. But this time around, Bibi Bright, who is also gunning for the MPP. She goes around, promoting the MPP and campaigning for the MPP, has actually alleged that anyone who is a celebrity in Ghana who says Twasu is saying so because Twasu is for JM, is saying so because their palms have been greased.
For any actress or actor to come stand here and tell me that when the Kufuor administration was there, he or she had no job. John Dumelo, all these other big stars, they were big under the administration of Kufuor. The industry was good. They became supers. Now, Muhammad Simon, look at us. We are now Instagram actresses. But we do red carpets with no movies to our name. When was the last time most of us even shot a movie or even appeared in movies?
Some of the names you've mentioned have been seen with the National Democratic Congress, the same administration you're claiming that has caused them to lose their job. Is it that they are not reasoning?
For me, I think the table on the NDC government is filled with goodies, that if you sit with them, you get to enjoy the fat of the land with them. Anybody who says Mahama to us, trust me, they are benefiting some way from Mahama.
You mean that these fellow colleagues who are following JM is because they are getting something from there?
Of course, and I'll say they are benefiting.
Well, same way somebody is going to be asking her that if she's also campaigning actively for the MPP, is she getting her palms?
She says no, she's not getting anything. She tells me that, what she does is to solicit for funds. She says she doesn't know Nana Akufo-Addo until she met his wife recently. She didn't know anything about the family. But she just thinks that during the Kufuor administration, the Ghana movie industry was stable. And until JM and the NDC took over, things have become, worse. That's
she can say that she doesn't really know them. Same way could it be that John Dumelo and the rest also really didn't know him. And
well, that's true.
They felt a passion to, campaign for him, and they're doing that.
That's true. That's very, very true. But there's deliverance, in Binim's church. And this time around is an actress being delivered.
I saw that.
You know that?
I saw that on social media.
Oh, okay. You saw that on social media. Were you enthused by the way the interpreter was saying the... Okay, so let's see Kumawood actress Belinda Gaffer being delivered.
Never try to swim in water. Mammon spirits need you. Life. Anytime you bath in water or you swim in water, it will take you away life.
Yate wagana hafa branch and a friend or Castro Galin show men show the coin. The same thing I want you to be Galin show me show the wako.
As we have heard about the gentleman who is called Castro, he went to swimming and that's the end of it. He could not come back. The same thing will happen to you.
Mama me ensure.
Give me water.
So
that I will use it to deliver her from any water.
Father, I use this water as a point of contact.
Amen.
I turn this water into your blood of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Or just for when we're going to say the action.
The action, but the interpreter did well. Let me clap for it. The interpreter. Hey, Charlie.
Right.
Anyway,
All
so
right.
that's it for entertainment. I'll be back with Joy News Interactive later. Israel.
Okay, but you're still in the news anyway, so you can go to her Facebook page and see all the stuff that she's been.
That's a movie title.
writing.
There's nothing happening there.
It's not true. She's really in love, and I have pictures to that. That's it for entertainment. All right, it's time for sports, and in sports, it's all about the Black Stars match against Egypt over the weekend. That was yesterday, right?
Yes.
Okay, and well, we lost by 2-0.
Yes.
And there's some people who are actually happy about it.
Yes.
You wouldn't think that they would be happy, but it looks like, that this disenchantment that came follow the World Cup is still with many fans.
It is there, and unfortunately, people feel that, the Black Stars and everything associated with this a waste of money, a waste of heart time, a waste of emotional time, and all that. So,
but they played well, though.
Well, it's about taking chances.
Yeah. All right, you take it away.
Right.
Gary.
Thank you very much, and thank you for joining us on the Sports on Prime. I'm Gary Al Smith. We begin with the African Women's Championships. Black Queens coach Yusuf Basigi names the final squad for the tournament. Don't forget that Ghana will be playing in this tournament, which is really the female version of the African Cup of Nations, and it will be held in Cameroon. Here's a report by Abigail Sosu.
Foreign-based goalie Alima Sadi Amoro was dropped from the squad, as well as Deborah Efie, who was paraded as the Lionel Messi of the Queen. Also shot stopper Beatrice Nketia and defenders Hilia Kobla, Mabel Bafo Ishen, Agnes Kwe, Rita Autry and Alberta Asante were all left out. The final squad for the tournament comprises 8 foreign-based players with 13 home-based stars. United States-based Florence Datsun and Swedish duo of Elizabeth Addo and Portia Boache made it into the final 21, despite reporting late to camp. In all, 3 goalkeepers, 6 defenders, 8 midfielders and 4 attackers were selected for the tourney in Cameroon. Nana Ama Asantua, Patricia Mante and Fafali Dumehisi are the 3 selected safest pair of hands. Defenders Janet Edri, Rosemary Ampem, Linda Eshen, Cynthia Adobia, Cynthia Ajay and Regina Entry made the squad. Meanwhile, the midfielders are Janet Echampon, Mary Estifol, Pesla Sahene, Pesla Autry, Safia Abdul Rahman, Alice Kusi, Elizabeth Addo, Grace Asante, and former Hazakes ladies goal poacher Samira Suleiman, Portia Boache, Florence Datsun, Faiza Ibrahim complete the squad as strikers. The Black Queens are paired in Group B with defending champions Nigeria, Mali, and debutants Kenya.
So that's for the African Cup of Nations for the Black Queens, and they are getting ready for that. Today also, I have to say that the Under-20 Women's National Team, the Black Princesses, started their campaign in the Under-20 Women's World Cup. They lost by 1-0 against New Zealand. Well, looks like the national teams are all losing. Let's get some reaction to that loss and what it means, especially, the Black Stars, as they lost 2-0 against Egypt. On Twitter and on social media last night, all the way till today, 24 hours later, we had some interesting reaction. Let's check it out. So after I'd finished 2-0, this is what the table looked like. Egypt with 6 points, Uganda with 4 points, Ghana with 1 point, Congo with 0. There are 4 matches to play in this competition as Ghana looks to redeem itself and qualify for Russia 2018, looking very difficult. Also, yesterday was Sunday was November the 13th, and it was exactly 57 years since Ghana first meet Egypt. Egypt beats Ghana by 2-0, and you can see this newspaper clipping from the Daily Graphic from that time. It looks a bit patched, obviously, because it's old. And on November 13, 2016, Egypt also beat the Black Stars by 2-0. Let's go to the next image. Now, in terms of Avram Grant's record in the last couple of games, the last 5 games, Avram Grant has been unable to win with the Black Stars in competitive and non-competitive matches. Now, if you look at the first game, the third game, and the fifth game, all were competitive matches. Against Rwanda, it was an AFCON qualifier. Against Uganda, it was the first World Cup qualifier, 0-0. And against Egypt on Sunday, it was 2-0. In between, we had 2 friendly matches with Russia, which the Ghana lost by 1-0, and South Africa, which they drew by 1-0. Let's look at the bigger picture. So we tried asking, we did a poll, but it seems it's not coming properly. Yeah, we did a poll. Okay, let's check out the poll. It's back. If we can scroll down and check out the poll. Right, it's not back. Let's go to the next thing. Avram Grant's record as Black Stars coach is not exactly very stellar. It's not very bad, actually, I mean to say. His record in competitive and friendlies altogether, he has played 22 games. He has won 11, drawn 8, and lost 3. So he's won half of his games in total. But what perhaps is more important are the competitive games only. He has played 15 competitive games. He has won 9, drawn 1, and lost 5. Okay? So he's played 15, won 9, drawn 1, and lost 5. And in friendlies, this is his record. So you can have a bird's eye view and judge yourself as to what it means for Avram Grant so far as Black Stars boss. And what is trending the whole day has been whether he should be sacked or not. And others feel that maybe we should wait till the Cup of Nations is done and for his contract to end in February 2017 in order to evaluate him properly. Away from Avram Grant, in the Ghana Premier League, Bechem United coach Manuel Zacharias says he's uncertain about his future. If you recall, there's been so much talk about the fact that other teams outside Ghana want his services.
Not me. The journalists, a lot of journalists, they're lying a lot. They say not the truth. Maybe I'm not going to another club. I'm talking from Ghana. Maybe caused for these many lies. You know, for me, I tell you every time to my president, when they listen my voice or see me in the TV like now, he can say, okay, it was my coach who say this, and this. But many stories, not so good for me, my private life, many lies. And for me it's difficult. But God is great, and I hope the time I'm in the Bechem, help and give a good name, big name, Bechem United. And just God know when, if I'm staying in Ghana, how many time, or if I'm go another country.
In boxing, the Bukom Arena is set to be inaugurated at the National Sports Emporium on November the 15th. There's a report by Joy Sportifua Asantua Ofosu on this ultra-modern facility.
On Tuesday, the newly constructed Bukom Boxing Arena will be outdoor to the public at the National Sports Emporium. The Bukom Boxing Arena is an unprecedented edifice to engulf the African continent and would serve as a home to other sports and disciplines. Here, it's Jacek Schotler, a board member of the ETC Polska from Poland.
What we try to do, we try to deliver the international standard facility. And it's there. It's there for boxing mainly, but also for basketball, volleyball, and swimming. This is the first, as we know, in West Africa, FINA standard swimming pool that you can officially register the results and the hopefully records that would be beaten on that swimming pool in future. In terms of boxing, you have everything what you need there in real international standards.
ETC Polska and Trust Sports Emporium, in collaboration with Box Office Promotions, will stage a 6-boxing contest night dubbed Honor and Glory to open the Bukom Boxing Arena. In the super bantamweight contest, Success Tete will battle it out with Emmanuel Otu, whilst Felix Williams will square off with Enoch Lamte for the featherweight division. From the Bronx Boxing Gym, Felix Ajom will rumble against his counterpart Victor Roy Ankra from the Black Panthers Gym in the super featherweight contest. The Clash of Daniels will host Daniel Adoku versus Daniel Latte in the super welterweight. In a 10-round contest, Prince Johnny aka Octopus will lock horns with Daniel Corte in the bantamweight contest. The focal fight for the night will be the Ghanaian National Lightweight Championship, which will see Benjamin Lamte from the Bukom Gym against Sheriff Quay from the Black Panthers Gym. Benjamin has vowed to discipline his opponent in the ring.
I will not have a knockout in mind, but he will refuse to fight and call off the fight. I will not come to knock him out, but discipline him so that he throws in the towel.
The boxing arena will be commissioned by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and will be attended by people from the diplomatic corps.
And that's the sport for now. Thank you very much for your custom. Get more via social media pages on Twitter and Facebook and on the sports page of myjoyonline.com. We are back tomorrow with more.
That's it for the bulletin. My name is Israelai. You have a good night.
This is Joy News Prime.